course, we've been working on it. I think I'm starting my 5th year, so we've been working on it for, we'll say 4 years anyway, and we finally got everybody happy. So once the state signs off on it and the feds sign off on it, then it comes back to the county, and the county board of commissioners adopts it as the county hazard mitigation plan. Once the county adopts it, then each local jurisdiction has the option to adopt it as their hazard mitigation plan. Totally voluntary, no one has to. It's something that's available to each jurisdiction for their residents, or not if they choose to. Basically, a hazard mitigation plan would come into play in one of 2 scenarios. One being there is a recurring, more than likely natural disaster, and we'll say flooding because flooding is always low-hanging fruit. Let's say over by the boat launch here in town, or even out to Honeymoon Heights, there's some properties that just continuously flood, continuously having to fix them, repair them, rebuild them, whatever. We could apply for federal dollars to do something with those houses to try to mitigate the disaster, so to speak. The other time a hazard mitigation plan may come in is if we have a very large incident that results in a federal declaration of emergency. Normally, if we have something really bad happen, we would do a local declaration of emergency. If we can't handle it locally, we reach out to the state, ask for a state declaration. The state can't handle it, they run out of resources, they ask for a federal declaration. At that point, the hazard mitigation plan would come into play, and then jurisdictions who have adopted a hazard mitigation plan, whether it's the counties or whether you guys chose to write your own or whatever, then could seek federal assistance cleaning up the mess, so to speak. For example, Midland County has a hazard mitigation plan, federally approved, have for years. They got just shy of $27 million to help with the dam mess and stuff over there. What is the likelihood that either of those scenarios happen here? I would guess probably pretty small. If they do happen here, hopefully it's after I'm retired, because I'm not super excited about having to deal with a mess that big, but there is always the potential. Should the township decide to adopt the county's plan as their own, it commits the township to nothing. It requires no time investment. It requires no dollar investment to adopt it. The only thing adopting it more than likely would somewhat commit the township to is in 5 years, when it's time to update the plan, renew the plan, then we probably would ask for input about the township. Hey, what's changed, what's no longer valid, should we remove, what's new that we should include that wasn't before, etc. Otherwise, there really is no downside to it. There's really no commitment. How likely is it that something happens requiring this? Probably pretty small, but I guess it's kind of like the rest of our insurances, that we have them, we hope we never need them, but if we do, we're darn glad we do. The only difference is this literally costs nothing. So that's kind of, I guess, a little bit of the nuts and bolts of that. Now, what we're told is that the jurisdictions that have an adopted hazard mitigation plan are eligible to ask for those federal dollars to mitigate things. And those jurisdictions who don't adopt something, we're told, would not be eligible. So I was asked, does that mean at the township line the help stops? That's what we're told. We've never had a plan here, nor have we ever had an incident large enough here that resulted in a federal declaration. So I can't say, well, last time it happened. So everything basically is what the state and the feds tell us. But I can't say, yes, for sure, no help west of Lake Road. Can't say that, but that's what we're told will happen. But again, adopting or not adopting is completely up to every jurisdiction. There's nothing that says anybody has to. It's something that can be done, or each jurisdiction can write their own plan. The one that I sent the link to, that's already been updated. So we're up to, I think we're still under 400 pages. So it's a little bit of a project, but if anybody wants to write their own, feel free. just share it with me, because if there's good stuff in it, I'll be happy to steal it.
Real quick, when you say the one you sent, because you sent me a link to one, are you saying that's been updated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's already been updated. The only thing that it's been updated that would affect Cato is the community profile, because like Kelsey was in there, Kelsey's gone. The new walk-in clinic was not there, that's in there now. Some of the fire department realigning and naming and all that kind of stuff has all been updated.
Could I get a copy of that new one?
I can get you a copy.
Well, not copy, but...
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can get you a copy of I can send you the new community profile, the updated community profile. Because the new one, with the updates, it's kind of a whole bunch of little documents right now.
Oh, okay. And yeah, I just would like to...
Sure. Absolutely. That's easy to send you. I should be able to do that tomorrow morning, assuming I remember when I get to the office.
I'll remind you.
That's good.
Timetable for if Cato wants to participate.
So when we were originally submitting our plan and going through the approval process, they told us that the format of our plan was changing January 1st, so they told us that everything either was done by January 1st or we had to start over January 1st. We're not starting over. So that's why I sent everything out to everybody. I said, hey, y'all, we got to do this by January 1st if we're going to adopt. But we've since got an update that now said that we have to have it done by April. So that January 1st deadline, I guess, isn't necessarily a deadline anymore. I haven't gone around advertising, hey, everybody, don't worry about it, because as soon as I say, hey, everybody, don't worry about it, everybody's going to not worry about it. And then we're going to be up against that April deadline like, oh, no. So technically, it doesn't have to be done until April now.
Yeah, thank you for putting that out there and all the hard work that's gone into it. I could tell just looking at the plan, and it's a very important topic. And you know, we kind of laugh, well, nothing like that'll happen, but I mean, look what happened in Gaylord with those tornadoes,
right?
And the flooding that's happened, and I definitely am supportive of, you know, team player. Let's work together. There's no commitment. I noticed it talked about like the different goals, and that there would be potential projects, and I think it says potential funding sources, you know, state or county and local operating budgets and stuff. So we're not committing ourselves to, you know,
yep,
we're going to give X amount of money up front or anything like that. But
nope,
the coordinated effort amongst neighboring townships, I think, is very important. The one thing I kind of gleaned from looking that over is you guys did survey townships. I think it went out to the supervisors back in like 2018, and I saw some good feedback from other townships, but I didn't see anything in there for Cato. And I guess I think, you know, we as a group probably need to like talk about what we think our main risks are, and you know what should be in place. So I am in favor of adopting the county's plan. The only thing I would like to, because we didn't, it doesn't appear like you got much input from us, or.
And I honestly don't remember who did or how much who did, if they did or didn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Jerry might remember more of that than I do.
But I thought it might be worth running it by just a very quick question into our attorney to ask, you know, should we have any kind of sub-plan as a township ourselves of what we think the risks are around here, to kind of, I guess, you know, supplement adopting that plan too. So that's my only thought, and having that extra time, I wouldn't want to push it out to April. I'm thinking January we could look into adopting a resolution and whatever our attorney recommends, specific to Cato as well. But do you guys have any thoughts on that? Are you supportive of?
I'm supportive, yeah, I agree with you.
So, well, thank you for being here tonight and giving the presentation, and we will definitely be getting back in touch with you.
For sure. You've got my number. Feel free to share with anybody, and anytime anybody has any comments, questions, concerns about whatever, feel free to give me a shout anytime.
Good. Sounds good. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next we have Deanna Nicholson from Tamarack District Library for the annual report.
Thank you for having me today. I am just here to give our annual report, and I do see that there is a vacancy. Sue Draper has been on the board for several years and has decided to step off. And I believe that Steve Charnley has asked to fill that position. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that, and hopefully that can happen so that he can start on the first of the year, because that's when Sue's term is going to, when she is resigning. So just want to make sure everyone was aware of that. And then the annual report here, it says that we have 3,449 registered users at the time, and that we had over 55,000 people come and visit the library in 84 programs last year, and 4,330 program attendees, and then over 62,000 circulation. And then you can see on the graph that we get most of the funding is from the county tax millage that has been passed. And then the district operating is 22%, and then the debt is 17%. A couple years back, we did refinance the debt. Originally, it was supposed to be paid off in 2036, and it will now be paid off in 2032, so 4 years early, so we're really excited about that. Not sure if that was relayed before I was here at all. And then we, because of that extra county tax millage that was in place, we are trying to update multiple things in our system. We are replacing our computers on a regular basis. We replaced 5 last year. We upgraded our security cameras inside the library and outside. We got LED lights so that we can get lower bills. We put a fence around the generator that's on Main Street there so that it hides the generator and it looks a little bit nicer. And then we also built the pavilion this year. So those are some of the things that we're doing with some of those funds. And then we've been able to also put some of those funds aside for a bookmobile. Our plan is in the next few years, it's in our 5-year plan, we're 1 year into that. So within the next 4 years, we'll have a bookmobile that will be going out to all of the area that we service, so that we can get those books to individuals that might not be able to come to the library and get them. So we're really excited about that. And then the little sheet you have is a QR code that we would like everyone to participate in. So if you would scan that, and it's a survey so that we can hopefully know what community members want that bookmobile to be, so that when we are building it, that it is what the community wants on that. So scan, take the survey, and then pass it on to someone else, please, if you don't mind. Any questions on anything?
When is the survey deadline?
We don't have one
as
of right now. No,
Okay.
because I'm continuing these meetings through April, so it will be at least through April.
That's some time.
There's several townships I have to go to. So yes.
Okay. Just a quick question. And this might be just ignorance, but how much programs with the school do you guys do? Do you guys work quite a bit with the school system for library services, or is that
No.
separate?
This last year though, I have started to already do a little bit of a bookmobile, and I actually take books into the school, into the high school. So far, it's only going into the high school, but I go into the high school with a cart of books per se, so that students can come down and check out books. Again, if they might not have access to them, to walking to the library after school or anything like
Do you
that.
have
So,
students that'll come in to use the computers and stuff, or
Mhm.
is that?
yeah, yep. We have a large group after school that comes. We do after school programs 2 days a week, where children are but children come and have a activity that's geared specifically towards them, and that's not actually included in this 84 number.
Okay.
So yes, that is something that we do, and then of course the summer reading, and we continue that the after school activity, except it's a summer time activity also, at least one day a week, so.
Anybody else have any questions? Deanna? I want to speak to what you said originally about having an open position. First off, are these lifetime appointments on is there
There's no term.
They are 4-year terms, but as long as the person continues, the township in the past have always just let them continue until those people have decided that they wanted to resign. I've never heard of anyone saying that after 4 years they had to be out.
Okay. And you have reps from Pine Township and other townships too?
Yes, there's 2 from Pine Township, 2 from Cato Township, 2 from Hinton Township, and then we have 2 that the school board appoints, and that covers the remaining like Maple Valley, Douglas,
Winfield.
Belvedere, and
Winfield.
Winfield, thank you. Yes, thank you. And so those ones cycle in through that on a rotating basis.
Okay. Who's our other Cato one besides Sue?
Laura Lepping.
Oh, Laura. Okay, yep, I remember that from last year. So, yeah, first off, I want to acknowledge Sue Draper. 30 years she has been on that. That is pretty amazing. Great community service from her. And Steve Charnley, he's obviously not here tonight, but I think most of us know Steve, retired pastor, I believe, and very active writing for the Lakeview paper and stuff. I think he's a great candidate. I will say what we've been doing with our other boards, we had a fire board position come open and a planning commission, zoning board of appeals, is we have been trying to open those up to the public just in case others might want to apply. I can't say we get a lot of volunteers, but we, in the interest of transparency and just letting people know, hey, there are opportunities. I think we're probably all think Steve will do a great job, and I'd be shocked if we get anybody else, but I do feel like we should post the position like we did for the fire board. What are you guys, looking for this general consensus here? At least on our website and on the window, I know we have tried running newspaper ads, and we have not gotten much response. What's the board's?
Is there anybody in the audience that's interested in the library board position? Anybody here tonight? I'd go out on a limb and make a motion that this board appoint Steve Charnley to the library board.
That's because you've always done it that way.
Is there support? I don't think it's a knock against Steve. This is.
No, I think that we should,
At least on the website and the window. What do you feel about running the ad?
we did the same thing with the fire board with Clark, and nobody else but Clark.
Transparent.
So,
Like go for like 2 weeks, because if she wants January 1st is like we did for Clark. We were running 2 weeks, and it still gives it Charlie to be on there January 1st.
Well, we have to have a meeting. When's our next meeting? Is January?
Yeah, like 8th or 9th.
January 8th. So when is your
It's the 3rd Thursday of the month, which would be like what, January 18th? I'm sorry, I'm bad with
So that
dates
was
are not.
we could have something in place before your meeting. What do you guys think? I mean, last time we ran in the Lakeview area news, we are also doing daily news. Do we want to just maybe run it once in both? Yes.
I guess we got enough time to be honest.
And then that would be my proposal. We'll just, because we haven't got to this also, we're also going to have possible planning commission opening, and we're still looking for a board of review alternate, so we could just lump it all in a very short, sweet time. So if that is okay, if that works for you guys as far as your meeting, I'd like to do that for transparency's sake.
No, you guys get to make that decision, so, yeah.
But we appreciate your
You get on
recommendation,
there.
and I think Steve would do a great job on there. So, any other questions for Deanna? Well, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. And sounds like you guys got a lot of good programs going on there. Check out the library when you get
Yes, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
What's that?
Mrs. Rankin at the bottom. The memo I want to read.
Oh, yeah, Mrs. Rankin, yep, former school teacher. All right, where am I?
Alright, so you wanna add in the Greenville and the Lakeview paper, we want responses prior to January 8th.
Yes, and, let's work together on that because I'm about to go into the terms
All right.
on the others. So, we're at the end of the year and, we had 2 terms on the planning commission that are up in December. One, so this would have been, before I became a board member, I was on the planning commission in Quanah Stryker. Both of our terms were up in December of 2023. Now, we had, back in, was it, July, appointed, no, June must have been, Jake Cummings to fill my position, but he only fills that out the remainder of my term. So he's really only gotten a chance to serve for 5-6 months. So for that one, my recommendation is we reappoint him for a full 3-year term. He's doing a good job. I called and I talked to him, and he said he's liking what he's been doing, and is all for that. So that is my recommendation on that one. Now I did talk to Quanah and to ask what his if he was willing to sign up for another 3 years, and he is, but if there is somebody else who would like to take his place, he is concerned about having to miss meetings with his new job. He is on call for storms, and he could be called the day before and have to go to New York if there's a storm. He's in the electrical field. So that was what he had told me, that if nobody else wants it, I'll do it, but I'm concerned that with my new job, I might have to miss. So I would, I think we could advertise that as well. And the other thing, we've been trying to get someone to do, be the alternate for Board of Review. I think we're actually required to have an alternate, but we're not getting anybody. We've advertised that as well, so I think we need to run that again. And if you have anybody you think would be interested, let me know and I'll reach out to them. So
So an ad for planning commission and board review?
alternate for Board of Review. I guess you call it a regular position for PC. And then we'll lump that with the library and just
What about ZBA?
ZBA, they should all be good at their organizational meeting in July or August, I can't remember, but they set up the staggered terms, so there'll probably be one next year, a 1-year term that's up, and then we'll go from there on that one. But I guess I'm gonna go ahead and make the recommendation that we reappoint Jake Cummings for a full 3-year term, starting with January 1. Is there support for that? Support. Motion's been made and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And we will reconvene in January on the topic for the PC. Okay, back to old business now. So update on our computer installation project, and ties into our new security system, which we've had our cameras up. Haven't been got the project officially online yet, but we're getting closer. So Big E Technologies has installed the 3 new computers. Both Joyce and Todd have new computers, and it sounds like you guys a lot faster liking them from what I'm hearing. So that's good. And then we also have the designated workstation for the security camera program. I think we need to talk about, I think right now, like, anybody can get on any of the computers. I don't think there's any user or password credentials. I think we probably need to, Eric can help us with that. Talk about who needs access. You know, I would think, you know, Joyce and Dutch access to your computer, and Todd and Miranda to yours. And as a backup, you know, I'm happy to be a backup for access in case, you know, somebody ever needs to get on there. As far as the security system computer, I have kind of been heading up that project as far as trying to get our policies in place. So I will likely be kind of a monitor of that, and then we just probably need a backup also on that. We don't want, anybody to just be able to get on that computer, because there'll be, sensitive information that we need to make sure we're maintaining and this and that. So I don't know if we want to make that call now to have Eric set up user access controls, or what's your feelings on that with the computers? Does that work for you?
I don't have a problem with it, I guess.
So like Joyce and Dutch would have the user and password, and maybe I could be a backup or something as supervisor. Would you guys be open to that? And
it doesn't matter to me. I mean, nobody can get into like my tax program to
Okay.
change, like they can't make any changes to it.
Okay.
You gotta get through 3 different passwords.
Okay.
So
that's all.
it's
Secure.
everything's secure there. But yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have to get onto it, to have a password. That would be fine with me.
Okay, so you and Dutch, and then I would be back up on that. And then for Todd, it would be, you and Miranda, I'll be back up on that. And then for the security, I'll be kind of the head of that computer. And then Todd, would you wanna be, or Joyce, one of you guys wanna be backup credentials on?
I would say me, because I rent the community center, so I'd be more likely to go on to see if something's going wrong.
Okay.
Without having to call you every single time and say,
Yeah.
Brandon, come down,
Right.
Brandon, come down. Not that I have too much that goes on in here, but
Okay, I guess we can make a motion on that. I will, that, for Joyce's computer, Joyce, Dutch, Brandy, have the user access credentials. For Todd's, it'll be Todd, Miranda, Brandy for user access credentials, and then, for the security station, Brandy and Joyce for access credentials. Is there support on that? Support. Okay. Motion's been made and supported. I'm not repeating that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I have one more thing about that.
Yep.
When I worked into the office the other day to sign checks, I noticed the placement of the security camera computer. So I called Eric and asked, why did it get put where it got put? And he said, because the security camera stuff was there, so it made sense to put it there, but it is underneath a vent that can leak. So it does not make sense to put a computer right there.
Oh,
I think they got rid of that vent. I think when they come and fix it, I think.
I think they just put a top back on it. I think they just fixed it, cause you can still hear the wind and stuff come through it.
I thought they
So,
yeah. It was an ideal position. When I actually met with the security, Dave Frost from Statewide, and we kind of sit in that corner of the room, but there wasn't a lot of room back there. But
Right.
But you think the vent is closed, but
I'd have to get up there and look again, but I thought remember when they redid the roof, something blew up and we had a leak in there.
right, and I think they just put a top back, like a cap
It's
back on it.
possible. I don't know.
yeah, maybe.
But being there's a hole there, not saying that there couldn't be a hole later.
I hope not, we paid a lot of
Should
money
we
for the
put,
roof.
like, a cover over the computer?
Right, and I mean, it
In
may
the
not be
meantime-
for 10, 15, 20 years,
Gosh, I
but
hate for,
you would hate for it to
yeah, okay.
leak onto a
Let's
computer.
get on
The
that.
one and only corner that has a hole in the roof.
So quickly. But yeah, I'm still working with Dave Frost from Statewide is on vacation. We met the first time. When he gets back, we're gonna have one more meeting. There is some, our number one goal was building security, and we have that. But number two was to try to record these meetings. And the audio, this camera's probably okay, but it's like staring down at the back of our heads. I don't think that was the point to be able to, have our meetings recorded that way. But that one, I don't think the audio is picking up as well. So I wanna work with Dave a little bit on that, as well as kind of bringing our policy, our plan all together. So that still is a work in process. I still need to just talk to our insurance company and our legal team just to make sure we have our proper noticing and a plan and policy in place. And then we're gonna figure out the invoice with Big E, and so part of the cost of the computers for the security station, we had applied for the park land grant, and I guess, what is the next step on,
They need invoices and photos, any details from us.
okay, because,
It's up to what, 3,200,
up to 2,300.
23.
And that was dated October 30th. And I know there's a little bit of a window when, Eric had required a deposit so that he could, with the lead times on inventory, to get this ordered. And I just wanna make sure that there's,
Yeah, he's got November 6th on here now.
right, but if they want check copies, and they say, well, why'd you pay him,
Right.
before? I don't want there to be an issue with that. I mean, if they're gonna squawk, I'd rather not take the money if they have a problem with it. So maybe we should just, I guess, ask them, hey, this is kind of how it all went down. He didn't get the project installed for that one computer. So I guess maybe we can work together and
Yeah, I've got a file somewhere with the information.
with the information. Yep. So let's just make sure all our T's are crossed and I's dotted with that. So, okay. Anybody have any questions or anything on that? Okay. Moving on to the banking proposal from Community First Federal Credit Union. So Tim Rasmussen, the CEO, came to our meeting last month and provided a letter, which I emailed out to you guys. I did do some checking, and I talked to Tim, and some of the numbers that listed for Mercantile on there I think are outdated. And Tim said we should verify that. So I do have some summary figures so that we're comparing apples to apples on this. So it's comparable as far as the fees go. So there is no return check fees on Mercantile. I talked to them today. They said they got rid of that.
That's wrong. I just got one.
They tell you that there isn't, but they keep charging us for it.
Okay, then we need to go talk to her because she told me, no, we don't have a return check fee today, okay? How about mailed statement fee? She said as long as you maintain an average of 30,000, you don't get a mailed statement fee.
That's wrong. They sent me a thing in July that said, unless we have online banking and